Have you ever wondered if the beliefs and habits you've carried for decades are holding you back from truly enjoying your life after 70? Many of us continue to follow old patterns without questioning if they still serve us. But what if letting go of just one unnecessary burden could bring more peace and joy into your life? In this video, we'll uncover 9 things that no longer make sense after turning 70, and why releasing them can lead to a lighter, more fulfilled life. By the end of this video, you'll not only learn how to let go of outdated roles, unnecessary routines, and the fear of growing old, but also discover how embracing simplicity and letting go of the past can unlock a whole new level of freedom. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by the pressures of always needing to be useful, productive, or perfect, this video will show you how to reclaim your time, your peace, and your joy. Stick with us, and by the end, you'll be ready to shed what no longer serves you and embrace the true lightness of being. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Letting go of the need to be useful to everyone. It's incredible how deeply ingrained the belief is that our value is tied to our usefulness. From such a young age, we are taught that our worth depends on what we do for others, whether it's for our families, our friends, or the communities around us. This lesson becomes an invisible force that drives us throughout life, shaping how we see ourselves and measure our success. We grow up thinking that we must always contribute, always help, and always be productive. It becomes second nature, almost like an instinct, to believe that if we're not useful, we're somehow failing, not just as people, but as individuals worthy of love and respect. This burden starts early, and before we even realize it, we're taking on roles like being the reliable parent, the ever-supportive spouse, or the friend who always steps up when needed. These roles, while noble, start to define us, and over time, we may lose touch with what we truly want. And yet, the truth is so much more liberating than this narrow belief. As life evolves, particularly as we step into our later years, whether it's in our 70s, 80s, or beyond, we are faced with an important realization. We do not need to be useful to everyone to be worthy of love or respect. We don't have to say yes to every request, nor do we need to exhaust ourselves to prove our value. It's an incredibly emotional experience to let go of that constant need to be everything for everyone. After years, sometimes decades, of putting others first, it's difficult to imagine that we can still be loved, still be valuable, without always giving. But life teaches us something precious as we age. We deserve peace. We deserve to take care of ourselves, and if we don't do it, no one else will. Our value isn't found in how much we do for others. It's found in the love, the kindness, and the moments we've shared. Those are the real legacies we leave behind. That's where true worth lies. What's even more astonishing is that when we finally permit ourselves to step back, we see that the world continues. Life doesn't fall apart if we stop being at the center of everyone else's universe. The people around us learn to solve their problems, and in many cases, things work themselves out without us lifting a finger. It's a strange and wonderful relief to understand that the weight of the world was never ours to carry alone. It never was, and it never will be. Setting boundaries, saying no when it feels right, and honoring our limits is one of the most empowering things we can do. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first, and fear creeps in. We worry that if we stop being useful, people might stop valuing us. But those who love us, who truly love us don't need us to be constantly in action. Our presence, our kindness, our love, that's enough. By releasing ourselves from this exhausting need to always be useful, we open up space for something even more precious, the simple, pure joy of being, the joy of just being present in our own lives, being at peace with who we are. This is the gift of aging, the realization that we have already done so much, and now it's time to simply exist without guilt, without expectations. Can you imagine how freeing it feels to let go of the roles that no longer serve us, to just breathe and be comfortable in our skin? It's about savoring the time we have left, enjoying every quiet moment, and finding fulfillment in our well-being. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, ask yourself, what's one thing you can let go of today? One burden you no longer need to carry? One obligation you can say no to protect your peace? How would that change the way you feel about yourself? Letting go of this endless need to be useful could be the most loving gift you give yourself. 2. The fear of growing old. Growing old is one of life's certainties, something we all know will happen, yet so few of us are truly prepared to face it with open hearts. It's strange, isn't it? From the moment we are young, we are aware that time will eventually catch up with us, but the reality of aging often feels like a distant concept, something that will happen someday, but not yet, not now. And even as we mature and the years roll by, the thought of aging seems to bring with it a sense of unease, a quiet dread that lingers in the back of our minds. This fear of growing old isn't just about the physical changes that come with it. It's about the deeper, more existential fears of loss. Loss of vitality, loss of purpose, loss of relevance. We are bombarded by societal messages that tell us our worth is linked to our youth. Look around. Youth is everywhere, celebrated and idolized. Advertisements, movies, magazines. They all show us that being young, beautiful, and full of energy is what makes life valuable. The deeper implication is that aging strips away these things, leaving us with less. This fear doesn't just appear one day. It grows slowly, like a shadow that gets longer and darker with each passing year. It begins early, often in our 20s or 30s, when we start to notice the first signs of change, perhaps a few gray hairs, a few fine lines around the eyes. At first, we may brush it off, but deep down, we start to feel it. The ticking of the clock, the inevitable march of time. As we get older, the fear intensifies, and it's not just about wrinkles or aching joints. It's about the fear that we are losing something essential, our vitality, our relevance, our place in the world. We start to wonder, am I still important? Am I still valued? And the more society praises youth, the more we might feel left behind, as if life's most vibrant and meaningful years are slipping through our fingers. But here's the thing. What if we could reframe this entire narrative? What if growing old wasn't something to be feared at all, but something to be embraced, even celebrated? Because here's a truth that often gets overlooked. Aging isn't about loss. It's about gain. Every year that passes adds depth, richness, and wisdom to our lives in ways that you simply cannot offer. Yes, the physical signs of aging are real. Our skin may wrinkle, our hair may turn gray, and our bodies may slow down. But what we gain in return is far more valuable. Every wrinkle is a line etched by experience, by moments of joy, sorrow, love, and growth. Each gray hair is a mark of wisdom, a reminder of all the lessons we've learned along the way. These changes are not signs of decline. They are signs of a life lived fully and deeply. Imagine if we could see aging not as a thief that takes away our beauty and strength, but as a giver, one that bestows upon us the gifts of perspective, understanding, and inner peace. Reaching 70, 80, or even beyond is a remarkable achievement, something to be proud of. It means that we have survived and thrived, that we have witnessed and experienced the incredible unfolding of life in all its complexity. And isn't that something worth celebrating? By the time we reach this stage, we have nothing left to prove. We no longer need to chase the illusion of eternal youth. We can let go of the societal pressures that tell us we need to look a certain way or achieve certain things to be valuable. At this point in life, we can finally be. We can embrace who we are fully and unapologetically, knowing that our worth is not tied to how we look or what we do. It's tied to who we are and all the love, wisdom, and experience we carry within us. There's a profound beauty that comes with age, a beauty that goes far beyond the superficial. Aging brings with it the wisdom to know what truly matters in life. The people we love, the connections we've nurtured, and the moments of peace and joy we've experienced. In our later years, we gain the ability to savor the present moment in a way that's often difficult in youth. When we are young, we are so often focused on what's next, what we need to achieve, who we need to impress, what goals we need to reach. But as we age, we begin to realize that life's real treasures are not found in accomplishments or status. They are found in the simple moments, the warmth of a loved one's hand, the sound of laughter shared with friends, the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived. Aging allows us to slow down, to appreciate the beauty of the present without the constant pressure of what comes next. Of course, letting go of the fear of aging is not easy. We have spent so much of our lives absorbing the message that youth is synonymous with worth, and it can be difficult to shake that belief. But the truth is, we are not losing value as we grow older. We are gaining it. The lines on our faces, the gray in our hair, these are not things to be hidden or ashamed of. They are the visible markers of all that we have lived through, all that we have learned. Each wrinkle tells a story of resilience, of courage, of love, of heartbreak. These stories are our legacy, and they are far more valuable than any fleeting notion of beauty. The more we embrace the aging process, the more we realize that beauty itself transforms as we grow older. The beauty of youth may be fresh and vibrant, but the beauty of age is more profound. It is a beauty that comes from within, a beauty that radiates from the soul. It is the beauty of wisdom, of kindness, of having lived a life with meaning and purpose. And when we stop fearing the passage of time, we open ourselves up to the possibility of finding joy in every stage of life. Instead of mourning what we think we've lost, we can celebrate all that we've gained. So, the next time you look in the mirror and see a wrinkle or gray hair, instead of feeling dread, ask yourself, what story does this tell? What experiences, what memories, what lessons does this represent? Rather than seeing these changes as something to hide or fix, see them as the beautiful markers of a life well lived. Because that's exactly what they are, proof that you have lived, that you have loved, that you have grown. Ultimately, aging is not something to be feared. It is a gift. It is a privilege not everyone gets to experience, and it is a reminder that life, in all its stages, is precious. We are not becoming less as we grow older. We are becoming more wise, more compassionate, more at peace with who we are. And isn't that something worth celebrating? 3. The illusion of perfection. For so much of our lives, we are burdened with the idea that we must be perfect. The pressure starts early. Society tells us to aim for perfection in every role we play. We strive to be the perfect parent, the perfect spouse, and the perfect professional. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, believing that anything less than perfection is a failure. We push ourselves relentlessly, convinced that if we don't get it all right, we'll never be enough. But the cruel irony of this pursuit is that perfection doesn't exist. Perfection is an illusion, a mirage that keeps moving farther away the closer we try to get to it. And yet, for years, decades even, many of us exhaust ourselves chasing it. We sacrifice our peace, our joy, and often our sense of self in the name of this unreachable ideal. We think that if we just try harder, work longer, or do better, we'll finally achieve the perfection we've been chasing. But the truth is, perfection is not only unattainable, it's also deeply unsatisfying. Even when we come close, it doesn't bring the happiness we expect. Instead, it leaves us feeling drained, defeated, and endlessly disappointed. We get so caught up in the quest to get everything right that we forget to live. Life becomes a checklist, a series of tasks to be completed, rather than a rich, messy experience to be savored. We miss out on the beauty that exists in imperfection, the raw, authentic beauty of simply being human. As we grow older, we begin to see this more clearly. Time teaches us what youth often cannot. That imperfection is not something to fix. It's something to embrace. The cracks and flaws in our lives aren't failures. They're the spaces where growth happens. The missteps, the detours, the moments that didn't go according to plan. These are the experiences that make life interesting and meaningful. The imperfections in ourselves and the world around us are what allow for connection, compassion, and real, lasting love. After all, it's our humanity, our vulnerability, our mistakes that allows others to relate to us. Perfection creates distance. Imperfection fosters closeness. When we finally let go of this need to be perfect, whether it's in our relationships, our careers, or our self-image, we open ourselves up to a different kind of life. A life where we no longer have to be the best, the most accomplished, or the most admired. We permit ourselves to just be imperfect, flawed, and beautifully human. We learn that we don't have to prove anything to anyone. Not to society, not to our families, not even to ourselves. All of the effort, all of the heart and soul we put into our lives, it's enough. We are enough, just as we are. And with that realization comes an incredible sense of relief. Letting go of the pursuit of perfection feels like laying down a heavy burden we've carried for far too long. It allows us to breathe deeply again, to appreciate life for what it truly is, unpredictable, messy, and full of surprises. Life isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be real. And the reality is that life is often messy, often unexpected, and sometimes downright difficult. But it's also filled with moments of joy, of laughter, of love, moments that are made all the more beautiful because they are imperfect. When we stop trying to make everything perfect, we begin to see the beauty in what is. We begin to appreciate the little things. Things we might have overlooked in our relentless pursuit of flawlessness. The crooked smile of a loved one. The way the sun shines through a window on a lazy afternoon. The warmth of a hug after a long day. These are the moments that make life rich and meaningful. Imperfection is where life happens. It's where we grow, where we learn, where we connect. And the sooner we let go of the illusion that everything has to be perfect, the sooner we can find true peace. Imagine the freedom that comes with this acceptance. What if we stopped holding ourselves to impossible standards? What if we permitted ourselves to make mistakes, to stumble, to not have all the answers? What if we embrace the idea that our imperfections are not flaws, but the very things that make us unique and valuable? How much more joy could we find in life if we allowed ourselves to be fully, unapologetically human? As we grow older, we are gifted with a new perspective. We realize that perfection is not what makes life beautiful. Life is beautiful because it is imperfect. We don't need to keep striving, keep pushing ourselves beyond our limits, and keep trying to mold our lives into some picture-perfect fantasy. We can let go, we can breathe, and we can live real beauty, real meaning, real connection. They're found in the cracks, in the flaws, in the moments of vulnerability and openness that perfection will never allow. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped striving for perfection? How much more joy could you find in the everyday moments of your life, in simply being yourself, flaws and all? Because when we let go of the need to be perfect, we make room for something even more precious, the ability to live authentically, to experience life in all its messy, unpredictable glory, and to find peace in knowing that we are enough, just as we are. For the overwhelm of information and connectivity in today's hyper-connected world, it feels like we're never truly alone with our thoughts. The moment we open our eyes in the morning, we instinctively reach for our phones, already tethered to the digital world before we've even had a chance to greet the day. Emails, text messages, social media updates, breaking news alerts. They flood our screens, demanding our attention and pulling us into a constant state of awareness. And we comply, don't we? Out of habit, out of a need to stay informed, or perhaps out of fear of falling behind. But before we've even taken our first sip of coffee, our minds are racing, filled with information, obligations, and other people's voices. It's as if the world never stops talking, and we feel like we can't afford to stop listening. But amid all this noise, we rarely stop to consider the toll it's taking on us. This constant stream of information isn't just overwhelming, it's exhausting. It weighs us down, creates a sense of urgency, and leaves us feeling like we're always behind, always trying to catch up. Do we ever ask ourselves if we need to know everything all the time? Do we truly need to follow every news story, respond to every message, or stay updated on every trending topic? The reality is that most of what we consume is not urgent, nor is it essential to our well-being. And yet, we've conditioned ourselves to believe that we must stay plugged in, always connected, always available. But at what cost? The more connected we are to the outside world, the more disconnected we become from ourselves. We lose touch with our inner voice, our thoughts, and our own needs. It's as if we're constantly consuming information without ever taking the time to digest it, to process what truly matters. We fill our minds with so much external noise that we no longer have the space for introspection, reflection, or real emotional connection. We're always on, but we're not truly living. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed. We've been trained to think that being constantly informed is a virtue, and that staying connected is a measure of success. But deep down, many of us are exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. We've become prisoners to our devices, slaves to the endless notifications that keep us tethered to a world that demands more from us than we can reasonably give. The result? Anxiety, burnout, and a profound sense of disconnection from ourselves, from our loved ones, and from the peace we so desperately crave. But here's the truth we need to embrace. Disconnecting is not selfish. It's not a luxury or an indulgence. It's a necessity. Stepping away from the noise, turning off our phones, and allowing ourselves moments of silence is an act of self-preservation. It's a way of reclaiming our peace, of giving ourselves the space to reconnect with what truly matters. When we make the conscious choice to disconnect, even for a little while, we're not abandoning the world. We're choosing to protect our mental and emotional well-being. We're choosing to listen to our voices instead of the endless chatter that surrounds us. Think about the last time you allowed yourself to be truly present in the moment, without distractions, without your phone buzzing, without the temptation to check that next notification. When was the last time you sat in silence and simply listened to your thoughts? It's in those quiet moments that clarity arises, that we rediscover the sense of calm that the modern world often robs from us. By disconnecting from the external, we create space for the internal. We allow ourselves to reconnect with our inner voice, to reflect on our own emotions, and to prioritize what's truly important. And it's not just about finding clarity. It's about reconnecting with the people around us, too. How often have we found ourselves sitting in a room with loved ones, only to realize that everyone is glued to their phones, lost in their digital worlds? We're physically present, but emotionally distant. We're together, but we're not truly connected. By stepping away from the screens, we allow ourselves to re-engage with the people who matter most, to be fully present in our relationships, and to experience real human connection. It's important to remind ourselves that we don't need to keep up with everything happening in the world at every moment. The news will still be there tomorrow. The emails can wait, and the messages, more often than not, are far less urgent than they seem. What's truly urgent is our need for balance, our need for peace, and our need to reconnect with ourselves and our loved ones. So, what would happen if we allowed ourselves to disconnect from the constant barrage of information? If we put down our phones and let go of the need to stay perpetually plugged in? How much more joy, calm, and connection could we experience in our lives if we permitted ourselves to simply be? It's not about abandoning technology or rejecting the modern world. It's about learning to manage it in a way that serves us rather than overwhelms us. In the end, disconnecting from the world is how we reconnect with ourselves. And isn't that the most important connection of all? Let's give ourselves the space to breathe, to think, and to live more fully in the present moment. Let's choose peace over noise, clarity over chaos, and connection over distraction. The world will still be there when we return, but we will come back to it refreshed, renewed, and more fully ourselves. So, when was the last time you put your phone down and simply listened to your thoughts? How would your life change if you allowed yourself the freedom to disconnect, even just for a little while? 5. Holding on to old roles and labels. Throughout our lives, we wear many different hats. We become parents, spouses, professionals, caregivers, mentors, and friends. These roles not only shape the course of our daily lives, but also deeply influence our sense of identity. They give us purpose and a clear understanding of who we are and what our place in the world is. But as time passes, as we age and evolve, many of these roles naturally come to an end. Children grow up and move out, careers wind down or take new forms, and even relationships can change or fade. Yet, despite these natural transitions, we often find ourselves holding on tightly to these roles, long after they've ceased to serve us or reflect the current version of who we are. Why do we do this? Because these roles have been a part of us for so long, letting go feels like losing a piece of ourselves. They gave us meaning, structure, and a sense of importance. The idea of no longer being a full-time parent, a valued professional, or even the go-to friend can feel unsettling, even frightening. We might ask ourselves, if I'm not these things anymore, then who am I? It's a deeply emotional and personal struggle because we've spent years, often decades, defining ourselves through the lens of these roles. And as much as we may sense that it's time to let go, the thought of stepping away from something that has shaped our identity feels like stepping into the unknown. But what we so often forget is that our identity is not fixed. We are not defined by the roles we play in life. We are so much more than that. We are dynamic, evolving beings, capable of transformation and reinvention at any stage of life. Reaching the age of 70, 80, or beyond offers us a unique opportunity. The chance to rediscover who we are beyond the roles we fulfilled in the past. It's a time for renewal, for exploration, and for embracing new possibilities. Just because certain roles have come to a close doesn't mean we've lost our purpose. It simply means we're entering a new phase of life, one where we can redefine our purpose on our terms. This stage of life is not about retirement from purpose, but rather about expansion. We can now explore new interests, dive into passions we never had time for before, or even step into entirely new roles that reflect who we are today, not who we were 20 or 30 years ago. Imagine how free it would feel to let go of the outdated labels we've clung to and embrace the possibility of something new. The truth is that holding on to old roles often limits us. We stay stuck in a version of ourselves that may no longer fit, trying to relive past identities that no longer reflect our present reality. While those roles served us well in the past, they don't have to define our future. Letting go isn't about loss. It's about liberation. It's about recognizing that certain chapters of our lives have come to a close. And that's okay. It doesn't mean the book of our life is over. It means new chapters are waiting to be written. One of the most beautiful aspects of aging is that it gives us the freedom to explore ourselves in ways we may never have had time for before. Maybe there's a creative side of you that's been waiting in the wings, or a long-buried passion you never had the chance to pursue. Perhaps there's a new skill you've been curious about, or an entirely different path you've been contemplating. Now is the time to explore those possibilities. There is no expiration date on personal growth, on discovery, or on finding a new purpose. Letting go of old roles doesn't mean we're abandoning who we were. It means we're making room for who we are still becoming. It means we're embracing the richness of life's changes and allowing ourselves the grace to evolve. Each phase of life brings with it new growth opportunities, and there's no reason why we should be confined by the roles we played in the past. We are not just the mother, the executive, or the caregiver. We are multifaceted individuals with a wealth of experiences, wisdom, and potential still untapped. Think about it. Are you still holding on to a role that no longer fits who you are today? Maybe it's the role of the caretaker. Even though your children are grown and living their own lives. Maybe it's the professional identity you've carried for decades. Even though you retired and no longer feel the same passion for that work. Or perhaps it's a social role you've taken on in your relationships, always being the one to help and support others, even when it's time to focus on your own needs. What would happen if you gently let go of those old labels? How might that open up space for discoveries, new passions, and new ways of being? Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it. It means honoring the roles we played, appreciating the lessons they taught us, and recognizing that they helped shape us into the person we are today. But it also means acknowledging that we are not bound by those roles. We are not fixed in one place, one identity, or one purpose. As long as we are alive, we can evolve, grow, and redefine ourselves. So, why not embrace this new phase of life with open arms? Why not release the old roles that no longer serve you and step boldly into the unknown? This is your time, a time to explore, to create, and to be whoever you choose to be. Letting go of old roles is not about losing yourself. It's about expanding your identity to include all the wonderful things you can still become. The question is, what are you ready to let go of, and what new chapter of your life are you ready to embrace? 6. Asking for help. Finding strength in vulnerability. Asking for help has always been one of life's more difficult challenges, hasn't it? From a young age, many of us are taught that independence equals strength, and that being self-sufficient is something to be proud of. We grow up hearing phrases like, Stand on your own 2 feet and don't rely on anyone else. These ideas seep into our consciousness, and before we know it, we begin to believe that needing help or support is somehow a sign of weakness, that it's something to avoid or be ashamed of. We tell ourselves that we should be able to handle everything on our own, no matter how heavy the burden is. And as we get older, this belief becomes even more ingrained. We want to prove to ourselves and others that we're still capable, still strong, still independent. But here's the truth. None of us are meant to carry the weight of the world alone. Independence is certainly valuable, but it doesn't mean we have to shut ourselves off from the support and love of others. True strength lies not in our ability to do everything on our own, but in our courage to admit when we need help. It takes incredible bravery to acknowledge that we can't handle everything by ourselves, and even more bravery to reach out and ask for the support we need. We often equate vulnerability with weakness, but vulnerability is one of the most powerful forms of strength. It takes guts to open up, to say, I can't do this alone, and to allow ourselves to lean on others. There's a certain tenderness, a softness, that comes with asking for help, and in that softness lies a profound strength. When we ask for help, we're not admitting defeat. We're acknowledging our humanity. We're saying, I am human, and I can't do everything by myself. And that's okay. What's more, by allowing ourselves to ask for help, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections with those around us. Asking for support isn't just about receiving help. It's about allowing others to show their care, their love, their compassion. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others to step in and share in our journey. We give them the chance to lift us, to be there for us in ways that strengthen our bonds and deepen our relationships. There's no greater gift we can give to someone than the opportunity to care for us. And there's no greater relief than allowing ourselves to be cared for without shame or guilt. For many of us, the fear of burdening others is a significant barrier. We tell ourselves, I don't want to be a bother, or they have their problems. But the truth is, most people want to help. They want to be there for us, just as we would want to be there for them. Asking for help isn't selfish. It's a reminder that we are all interconnected and that none of us are meant to walk through life alone. When we allow ourselves to ask for help, we create space for empathy, understanding, and mutual support. We allow others to show their love for us, and we, in turn, allow ourselves to receive that love. Think about it. When was the last time you asked for help? Was it a big ask, or was it something small? Did you feel uncomfortable, perhaps even ashamed for needing support? It's so common to think that asking for help means admitting failure. But what if, instead, we saw it as a beautiful act of self-care and self-respect? What if we reframed it as an act of courage, a step toward living a more connected, more fulfilling life? There is no shame in needing help, none whatsoever. Whether it's for something big, like navigating a difficult health issue or emotional challenge, or something as small as needing assistance with a task around the house, asking for help is simply part of being human. It's part of recognizing that we are not, and never were, meant to do everything on our own. Life is hard enough without carrying unnecessary burdens, and sometimes the bravest thing we can do is let someone else share the load. Letting go of the fear of asking for help allows us to live more fully. It frees us from the constant pressure to be perfect, to have it all together, and it makes space for real connection. It allows us to be honest with ourselves and with the people in our lives, and it permits us to be vulnerable, to be seen, and to be supported. And the surprising thing, often when we ask for help, we find that it doesn't weaken our relationships. It strengthens them. We discover that the people who truly care for us want to be there for us, and that by accepting their support, we deepen the bonds that tie us together. So, where in your life could you use some help right now? Maybe it's something you've been struggling with silently, not wanting to bother anyone with your problems. Maybe it's a small task that's been weighing on you, something you've been putting off because you feel like you should be able to handle it on your own. What if, just this once, you let go of the need to do it all by yourself? How might asking for help bring you closer to the people around you, allowing them to show their love and care in ways that strengthen your connection? Asking for help isn't a weakness. It's a profound act of strength and self-compassion. It's a reminder that we don't have to go through life alone, and that there are people who love us and are ready to help if we just let them. So, what's one area of your life where you could use some support? How might letting go of the fear of asking for help allow you to live more fully, more openly, and more connected to the people who matter most? 7. Breaking free from old routines. Routines, they give us a sense of structure and a feeling of stability, and at their best, they provide comfort and predictability. They are the anchor points of our daily lives, offering a rhythm that helps us navigate the chaos of the world. For many years, these routines have served us well, guiding us through busy schedules, responsibilities, and the complexities of life. But as time passes, something begins to shift. The routines that once felt comforting may start to feel stagnant, repetitive, and perhaps even burdensome. Yet, we often stick to them, not out of necessity, but simply out of habit. We cling to the familiar because it feels safe, even if it no longer brings us joy or a sense of purpose. Breaking free from old routines can be surprisingly difficult. There's a certain security in doing things the way we've always done them. Familiar routines give us a sense of control, a sense that we know what to expect from our day, our week, and our life. But here's the thing. Just because something feels comfortable doesn't mean it's still serving us. What if the routines we've clung to for so long are keeping us stuck? What if they're holding us back from experiencing new joys, new adventures, and new possibilities? As we get older, we are given a rare and precious opportunity, the chance to reevaluate the routines we've been following for years. We're no longer tied to the same obligations that once dictated our schedules. Children may have grown up and moved out. Careers may have slowed down or come to an end. And many of the daily tasks that once felt necessary may now feel like outdated obligations. This is our moment to ask ourselves a simple but powerful question. Are the routines I'm following still bringing me joy, or am I simply going through the motions? There's a real freedom in acknowledging that some routines no longer make sense. Maybe it's a rigid morning schedule that feels more like a chore than a joy, or perhaps it's a set of daily tasks that have become burdensome rather than fulfilling. By holding on to these routines, we may be missing out on opportunities for growth, adventure, and fulfillment. Life is still full of possibilities, and the beauty of this stage is that we have the time and the freedom to explore them, if only we allow ourselves to let go of what no longer serves us. Breaking free from old routines doesn't mean abandoning everything we know. It means creating space for something new, something fresh, something that lights us up inside. Maybe it's as simple as taking a different route on your morning walk, exploring a new hobby, or letting go of a task that has become more of a burden than a joy. Maybe it's trying something you've always been curious about but never had the time for, whether it's learning to paint, taking up yoga, or traveling to a new place. It doesn't have to be dramatic or life-changing. Sometimes, it's the smallest changes that can bring the biggest sense of renewal. But why is it so hard to step out of the familiar? Because familiarity feels safe. We know the routines, we know what to expect, and there's comfort in that. But the comfort zone can also become a cage, keeping us locked in place and preventing us from experiencing the full richness of life. When we cling too tightly to old routines, We risk missing out on the unexpected joys that come from spontaneity, exploration, and change. It's only when we allow ourselves to step into the unknown that we open the door to new possibilities, new friendships, new passions, new perspectives. Think about the routines in your life right now. Are there any that no longer serve you? Any habits or tasks that you follow simply because you've always done them, not because they bring you joy or fulfillment? What would it feel like to let go of those routines? To break free from the patterns that no longer fit the person you are today? Imagine the sense of lightness that could come from releasing what's no longer needed, and the excitement that could come from embracing something new. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At this stage in life, we have the gift of choice. We're not bound by the same schedules, the same expectations, or the same pressures that may have dictated our routines in the past. Now, more than ever, we have the freedom to create a life that reflects who we are in this moment, not who we were 10, 20, or 30 years ago. We have the power to reshape our days in a way that feels nourishing, energizing, and aligned with our true desires. There is something profoundly liberating about recognizing that we don't have to keep doing things just because we've always done them. We can evolve, we can change, and in that change, we can find new sources of joy, new connections, and new experiences that make life feel vibrant and alive again. By breaking free from old routines, we permit ourselves to grow, explore, and discover parts of ourselves that have been waiting patiently to be uncovered. So, what old routine are you ready to let go of? Is there a task, a habit, or a way of living that no longer fits who you are today? What would happen if you permitted yourself to step out of the familiar and into the unknown? What new experiences, new joys, or new passions could you invite into your life if you broke free from the routines that no longer serve you? Life is too precious to be spent on autopilot. Let go of what's holding you back, and allow yourself to embrace the possibilities that lie just beyond your comfort zone. There is so much more waiting for you if you're willing to step into it. Are you ready to break free? 8. Slowing down. The beauty of being present. For much of our lives, we exist in a constant state of hurry. From the moment we wake up, we're rushing from one task to the next, always feeling the weight of time pressing against us. We race through our mornings, our workdays, our conversations, and even our moments of rest, convinced that speed equals success. The modern world teaches us to value productivity above all else, measuring our worth by how much we can accomplish in the shortest amount of time. We chase after the next goal, the next achievement, never stopping to ask ourselves if this frantic pace is making us any happier or more fulfilled. But here's the truth. Life isn't a race. The faster we rush through it, the more we miss out on the beauty of the present moment. We may think we're getting more done, but in reality, we're skimming the surface of life, never fully immersing ourselves in the richness that each moment has to offer. When we slow down, we allow ourselves to truly experience life as it unfolds, to be fully present in the now without constantly worrying about what's coming next. Imagine starting your day not with a rush, but with a sense of calm. Instead of gulping down your coffee while checking your phone or thinking about your to-do list, you take your time. You sit in silence, holding the warm cup in your hands, feeling its comforting weight, and savoring each sip. You're not thinking about the next task or the next appointment. You're simply being fully present in that moment of stillness. Now imagine extending that sense of presence into other parts of your day. What if, during your daily walk, you slowed down enough to truly notice the world around you? The colors of the trees, the subtle sounds of birds, the way the breeze brushes against your skin. These are the kinds of simple, quiet moments that hold profound joy, but they're often lost in the rush of daily life. Slowing down isn't about doing less. It's about experiencing more. It's about choosing quality over quantity, presence over productivity. It's a way of reclaiming our time and our peace, reminding ourselves that life's value isn't measured by how much we accomplish, but by how deeply we engage with the moments that matter. When we're constantly rushing, we overlook the small but beautiful details of life. The taste of a meal savored slowly, the warmth of a conversation where we're fully listening, and the joy of simply being present with the people we love. For so many of us, the idea of slowing down can feel uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to believe that busyness equals worth, that if we're not constantly moving, we're somehow wasting time. But what if the opposite is true? What if it's in the stillness, in the slowing down, that we find the real meaning of life? What if by letting go of the need to rush, we discover a deeper sense of fulfillment, a quieter joy that comes from truly being present? Slowing down means releasing the need to do everything quickly. It means permitting ourselves to take our time, to linger in moments that bring us joy, and to let go of the pressure to always be productive. When we slow down, we're no longer chasing after the next thing. We're embracing the beauty of what's right in front of us. Life becomes less about the number of tasks we complete and more about the quality of the experiences we have. We begin to see that the most meaningful moments aren't found in the hustle and bustle. They're found in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moments where we're fully present. There's immense beauty in the act of slowing down. It allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate the simple pleasures that are often overlooked. Whether it's the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of laughter shared with a friend, or the peaceful quiet of a morning spent in reflection, these moments hold the potential for deep fulfillment. And when we make the conscious choice to slow down, we begin to realize that life doesn't have to be filled with endless tasks to be meaningful. It's often the simplest, quietest moments that leave the biggest imprint on our hearts. Think about the last time you truly slowed down. When was the last time you allowed yourself to fully enjoy a moment without thinking about what comes next? Maybe it was during a conversation where you listened without distraction, or a meal where you took your time, savoring each bite. Or perhaps it's been a while since you permitted yourself to slow down at all. What would your life look like if you embraced a slower pace? If you allowed yourself to move through your days with intention, savoring each moment instead of rushing through it? Slowing down doesn't mean you're giving up on productivity or abandoning your responsibilities. It means recognizing that there's more to life than just getting things done. It means choosing to be fully present in the moments that matter, and in doing so, finding a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. When we slow down, we create space for joy, connection, for gratitude. We open ourselves up to the richness of life's small moments, and we allow ourselves to truly live. So, how might your life change if you embraced a slower pace? What new joys might you discover if you permitted yourself to be fully present, without the pressure of always rushing toward the next thing? The beauty of life lies not in how fast we move, but in how deeply we experience the moments we're given. Are you ready to slow down and embrace the present? 9. Letting go of grudges and past hurts. As we move through life, we inevitably accumulate emotional scars, grudges, resentments, disappointments, and heartaches. These emotional wounds settle deep within us, and without even realizing it, we carry them for years, sometimes decades, allowing them to weigh us down. We replay old hurts over and over, reliving painful memories in an attempt to find justice, closure, or maybe just some sense of understanding. But the harsh truth is that holding on to these negative emotions does nothing to heal us. It does the opposite. It keeps us stuck in a cycle of bitterness and pain, preventing us from truly moving forward. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The person who wronged us often goes about their life, unaware of the pain they are caused, while we remain shackled to the memory of that hurt. They may not even remember what they did or said, but we continue to carry the emotional weight, letting it sap our joy, our peace, and our ability to live fully in the present. We think that by holding on to our anger or resentment, we're somehow protecting ourselves from further harm or exacting some sort of justice. But the reality is that grudges serve no one, not us, not them. All they do is keep us tied to a past that no longer exists. What if we allowed ourselves to let go of these old wounds? What if we chose forgiveness, not as an act of condoning or excusing someone's behavior, but as an act of self-liberation? Forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending the hurt didn't occur. It's about choosing to no longer let those past events have power over us. It's about reclaiming our peace and deciding that we will no longer carry the heavy burden of anger, resentment, or disappointment. Forgiveness is, at its core, an act of self-care, a way of freeing ourselves from the emotional chains that have kept us bound to the past. The act of holding a grudge is exhausting. It takes energy to keep reliving old wounds, to continue feeding the fire of resentment. Over time, that energy wears us down, leaving us feeling depleted, bitter, and disconnected. By choosing to forgive, we make room for something else: lightness, freedom, and the possibility of joy. Forgiveness allows us to put the past in its proper place, as something that shaped us but no longer defines us. It allows us to move forward with an open heart, ready to embrace new connections, new experiences, and new opportunities for happiness. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean forgetting the lessons we've learned from past hurts. It doesn't mean we invite people who have hurt us back into our lives or allow ourselves to be vulnerable to further harm. Forgiveness is about setting boundaries with love. It's about recognizing that we have the power to decide how much space we give to old wounds and whether or not we allow them to dictate the course of our future. It's about choosing peace over pain, release over resentment. So many of us hold on to our grudges because we believe they're serving us in some way. We think that by staying angry, we're protecting ourselves. But ask yourself, how much has holding on to these past hurts served you? Has it made you feel lighter, happier, or more at peace? Or has it kept you trapped in a cycle of negative emotions, constantly reliving the very moments you wish you could forget? Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's not about letting them off the hook or pretending everything is okay. It's about you. It's about taking back your power and refusing to let the actions of others dictate your happiness. By letting go of past hurts, you reclaim your freedom. Freedom to live in the present without the weight of old emotional baggage. You permit yourself to fully experience the joy and beauty of life, unburdened by the pain of the past. Think about it. What hurt from the past are you still carrying with you? What unresolved grudge or old wound continues to linger in your heart, preventing you from fully embracing the present? What would happen if, today, you chose to release that burden? Could today be the day you decide to forgive? Not for their sake, but for your own? Letting go of grudges doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that often requires us to confront uncomfortable emotions and acknowledge the pain we've been holding on to. But with each step toward forgiveness, we feel a little lighter, a little freer. We begin to realize that the past no longer has to define us, and we no longer have to be prisoners to the pain we've carried. By letting go, we open ourselves up to the possibility of healing, joy, and peace. Imagine how different your life could feel if you allowed yourself to release the grudges and past hurts that have been weighing you down. Imagine the emotional space that would open up, the space for new connections, new experiences, and a renewed sense of inner calm. Life is too short to spend it carrying the heavy burden of resentment. It's time to set yourself free. So ask yourself, what hurt from the past are you still carrying? How might your life change if you chose to forgive and let go? Could today be the day you make that choice, not for anyone else, but for yourself, for your peace, your freedom, and your happiness? The power to forgive is within you. Are you ready to set yourself free? 10. Embracing the lightness of being. As we reach the age of 70, we are granted a remarkable opportunity, a chance to truly let go of everything that no longer serves us. We've spent so many years building, striving, and proving ourselves, and yet, at this stage in life, we no longer need to hold on to those old pressures or expectations. Whether it's releasing the need to always be useful, the fear of aging, or the illusion of perfection, each step we take toward letting go brings us closer to our most authentic selves. It's time to embrace the freedom that comes with the stage of life, the freedom to simply be. We have nothing left to prove. We have lived. We have loved deeply, faced life's challenges head on, and grown in ways that perhaps we never imagined. Now, the journey is not about pushing forward or accumulating more. It's about slowing down, savoring the moments, and finding peace in the simplicity of just being. This is the beauty of aging. Realizing that life's most precious gifts are not found in more things, more titles, more achievements. Instead, true fulfillment comes from connecting with what is essential. It comes from embracing simplicity, cultivating love and connection, and finding joy in the little moments of daily life. The lightness of being is not just a philosophical idea. It's a way of living. It's about shedding everything that weighs us down. The burdens of expectation, the pressures of busyness, the need to meet society's standards, and instead embracing a sense of lightness, a sense of freedom. It's about recognizing that life, at its core, is not about doing, but about being. And when we allow ourselves to let go of the things that no longer serve us, whether they be material possessions, outdated roles, or emotional baggage, we open ourselves to the pure joy that comes from simply being present at the moment. Imagine living each day with a sense of lightness, free from the need to accomplish or achieve. Imagine waking up and feeling content with where you are, rather than worrying about what's next. Imagine the peace that comes with knowing that you are enough, just as you are. This is the gift of embracing the lightness of being, the realization that we don't need to chase after anything to find happiness. It's already here, in the simplicity of a quiet morning, the warmth of a shared smile, or the beauty of nature around us. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means creating space for what truly matters. It means releasing the heaviness of unnecessary worries, of the need to control, of the pressure to always be doing. And when we do that, we create room for joy, for spontaneity, for connection. We begin to experience life in a richer, fuller way. The moments we once rushed through, we now linger in. The conversations we once glossed over, we now dive into deeply. Life becomes less about what we accomplish and more about how we feel, how we connect, and how we simply are. At this stage in life, we've earned the right to slow down, enjoy the fruits of our years, and embrace the lightness that comes with letting go. We've spent so much time carrying the weight of expectations, our own, and those placed on us by others. But now, we can release them. We can shed the layers that no longer fit us and step into a new chapter of life, one filled with peace, contentment, and presence. We can choose to live with lightness, free from the pressures that once dictated our every move. So, what's one thing you could let go of today to embrace more lightness in your life? Maybe it's a lingering worry that no longer serves you. Maybe it's an outdated role you've been clinging to, or a perfectionist mindset that has kept you from fully enjoying the present. What would it feel like to release that weight? How might your days change if you allowed yourself to live with more ease, more grace, and more lightness? When we embrace the lightness of being, we stop chasing after what we think life should be and start appreciating life as it is. We open ourselves to the simple joys that often go unnoticed in the rush of daily life. We begin to see that the greatest beauty is not found in grand achievements or perfect moments, but in the quiet, imperfect, and fleeting moments of presence. These are the moments that fill our hearts, that remind us of what truly matters, and that bring us the most profound sense of joy and peace. In the end, life is not about how much we do or achieve. It's about how we feel, how we love, and how we experience each day. The lightness of being is an invitation to let go of the unnecessary, to stop carrying burdens that don't belong to us, and to embrace the beauty of simply being. It's about permitting ourselves to slow down, breathe, and savor the richness of life's simple moments. So, ask yourself, what can you let go of today to bring more lightness into your life? How might your world change if you stopped striving and started being? The answer, and the peace you seek, are waiting for you in the lightness of the present moment. Are you ready to embrace it? As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together, from letting go of old roles and routines to embracing the lightness of simply being. What have you learned so far? Each of these lessons offers us a chance to let go of the things that weigh us down and to live more fully in the present. What's one thing that resonated with you the most? We invite you to share in the comments below. What's one idea or practice from this video that you plan to bring into your own life? Whether it's forgiving old grudges, slowing down, or letting go of perfection, we'd love to hear how these insights are shaping your journey. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content that inspires growth, reflection, and joy. Thank you for being here with us today, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts.